What's up, Bankers?
Hello, Vankers.
How is everybody doing?
Nice. Yeah, nice. That's nice. That was nice.
What did he say after? Fucking well done, or that was fucking... What did he say?
No, I'm talking about Lando Norris in the cool-down room. Watching all of his mistakes watching the CCTV camera of all of his cell phones and muggings, and him just going, nice, Lando, good one, buddy, nice. That's how I felt watching this race as a Lando fan. I was like, nice, nice, yes, ooh, oh, let's watch him. Let's watch his mistake again. Nice one, nice. There's nothing going on in this race, really, nothing. And then I look around, wow, there really is nothing else going on in this race other than Lewis Hamilton going up 11 places. But
yeah, how many times?
Nice.
Yeah, how many times are we going to show? How many different angles are we going to show Lando locking up subtly and losing 0.6 seconds?
Yeah, when the real reason that he was fucked was because they didn't double stack him because they didn't want to lose a second and a half, and instead they left him out on intermediate tires for another lap, and he lost 6 seconds. That's what happened.
Okay, first of all, let me just start
the Lando Coke begins, baby. This is the Red Flags brought to you by BetMGM. We're talking all things spa. This race was bullshit. So this will be a very short episode, and Matt has a migraine, so I'm going to use Matt's health and mental health and physical well-being as an excuse for why this episode's going to be short. It has something to do with Lando botching this race.
Guys, all right, so a couple things. I've had a migraine for 12 days. The doctor that I've had to go out of network for told me I had to be in a dark room until I feel better. So I am breaking protocol to do this podcast for you.
Yes.
I am miserable. I broke protocol. I'm not allowed screens. So I'm supposed to sleep. So I wake up fucking early at 6 a.m. for you guys.
Yeah.
At 6 a.m. delayed start. I'm like, what the fuck? And then by the way, the cure for the migraine is subscribe. Hit subscribe right now. And it's the only way I'm going to feel better.
Keep going.
It's hit subscribe and also Patreon because it's our main source of income. And I got to go to out of network doctors now because it's urgent. I'm in a lot of.
Right.
This is all an act right now. I'm suffering actively. These are not for style. Anyway.
You hit subscribe to get Matt. You hit subscribe to get Matt to neutral. You subscribe to the Patreon to ensure that he's going to be healthy for a long time. That's what. If you really care, you go to the Patreon. If you care a little bit, you subscribe to the.
Dude, I'm playing hurt right now. I'm Lewis Hamilton with the porpoising with the bad back. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's me right now. Anyway, so do you want to start with how annoying the start was? Or you want to just go right to the Lando of it all?
We can start with this race was a snoozer, so let's start with let's go through it chronologically.
Okay, so we wake up. I shouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even be here. And it's like delayed start. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Okay. And then we're killing time. Little do I know I'm on the wrong broadcast. Nobody tells me, Jenny, God damn it. Nobody tells me till the end that Nico Rosberg been cooking on the other stream. So I'm furious. I rapidly switch to the other broadcast and they go, oh, Nico, your time's done. Nico's going to be going over and doing the race broadcast in Italian. I'm like, the guy speaks Italian. They're not using him for the English broadcast. And he speaks Italian. This is fucking bullshit. So I'm sitting there for 45 minutes, miserable, missing all of the Nico Rosberg lore.
Yeah.
Apparently he was cooking, right?
He was dropping gems. First off, he comes onto the broadcast. He's in the booth with Crofty and Brundle, and he starts off with, gotta say, what an honor it is to be with such legends of the sport. Crofty, Brundle. He comes in like, I couldn't tell if he was like taking the piss out of them. He was like, to be with such titans of industry, you guys. I was like, okay, all right.
Can I project what I think it is?
Yeah.
Because they have him on so rarely.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we'll let you in for a second.
Right.
And then back to Italy. Do you know what I mean? Back to Sky Italia.
Relegated to a broadcast with a 15th of the audience as the one that's on this broadcast.
Maybe. I have no, probably. You're probably right.
Yes.
Brian, you know what it is? You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is, and you're going to, this is going to speak to you. They treat him like he's Johnny Guest Spot, and they're the they're the main
Series
characters.
Regs. Yeah.
They're the regs. They're Ross, Rachel, and he's like, Paul Rudd coming in for a second, not getting but he's a fucking star.
But he's fucking Paul Rudd, and he's going to be in the Marvel universe, and he's going to be the one laughing in 20 years. That's what's happening.
He's like, I'm just so humbled as a fucking guy who beat Lewis Hamilton in Equal Machine. So humbled to be in the presence of Crofty and Brundle. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. He's in there. He's shooting the shit with the guys. And then there's, obviously we're going to have to talk about Lewis Hamilton when Nico Rosberg's in the room. Who brings him up? It's like, even if someone else brings him up, Nico finishes. Even if someone else throws up the alley-oop, he's going to windmill slam dunk that shit. Because they start talking about how, it's the first race without Christian Horner, and how, big of a presence he was in the paddock. And, don't you think like that Toto and Zach Brown are enjoying Christian not being here? Because they talked, I think there was it came off of a cutaway to someone talking to Binotto, and Binotto's like, he was such a big presence, and we all are feeling that he's gone, and they're like, you think Toto and Zach Brown are missing his presence? And then I think Crofty's like, well, you need your rival, it's like, what are you without your rival? And then they start talking about and then Nico says, well, like Prost and Senna, they hated each other while they were on track together, but then once Prost left, Senna really felt his absence, and then they became best friends after that. And then Crofty goes, well, and like you and Lewis. So then it's like, boom, this is what we're here for. This is what it's all about. Let's talk about you and Lewis. Boom, right there. And then it's like, oh, yes. Do you guys still live in the same building? Oh, yes, we do. Yeah, we catch up. We still live in the same building. And how would you describe your friendship? And Nico Rosberg described his friendship with Lewis as a mutual friendship. Is that right? Is that what it said? Is that what he said, Jenny? Fuck.
In the chat.
Yeah. He said, oh, yeah, I'm good. We have a mutual relationship. It's nice to catch up from time to time. Anyway, moving on.
Or neutral. It doesn't. First of all,
I think he said no. I think he said mutual. I think he said mutual. I don't think he said a neutral. I think he said mutual, because it was like, yeah, it's both of us. It's mutual. What does that mean? No one knows. It doesn't mean anything, actually.
I mean, unless he talks to him and Lewis says nothing back. Yeah. Then every relationship but that relationship is a mutual relationship where there's a little give and a little take. It doesn't mean the guy speaks 5 languages. He's more articulate than I can ever be, but that was a miss from Nico. The guy is a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
He's got one move. It's like Kareem with the skyhook. It's one move, but it's unstoppable. We cannot get enough of it.
And then
he's incredible.
And then he goes, actually, I have a picture of Lewis and I. I have a picture of Lewis and I from back in the day, because he's telling stories about how much of because Brundle goes, you guys were so annoying back in the day when you would come to the paddock. You and Lewis would come into the paddock, and they would just be like little shits, I guess. They would just, pull pranks and be annoying and just be like around. And Brundle's like, you're annoying. You and Lewis were annoying. So then Nico's like, well, we were best friends back in the day. We used to do wrestling matches in our hotel rooms. And those hotel rooms didn't look anything like they did when we were through with them. Those hotel rooms, you didn't even recognize them, because Lewis and I were just absolutely chopping it up in the hotel rooms. And then he tells a story about how Lewis was on a jet ski. There was a jet ski story that Lewis was a psycho back in the day. That's what he started talking about, how Lewis was like a psycho. And sometimes you see a little bit of the Lewis psycho when he's like jumping off planes and when he's like, he in his extracurriculars, sometimes you get a little bit of taste of that. But I kind of wish we had a little bit more of the young Lewis psycho still around.
Yes. And how he almost died. He went up and he fell and he almost died, and Nico had to like save his life.
Oh right, yeah. He cracked his
guy
chin
came
open.
back in for that. Martin's like, it's a miracle you guys made it to F1. You guys were insane. I mean, he's the best. He went onto the grid and was just like, Valtteri Bottas, can't wait to see you at Cadillac next year. And Valtteri Bottas was like, what? Huh? Me? No? Huh? I can't hear you. I have to go. No, he's the best. Thank God for him. But then we do this whole fucking wait.
Yeah.
All this wait to get a rolling fucking start.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my take is, here's my take.
Yeah.
I know what people are going to say. Well, Spa is very dangerous. We've lost people here, and it's wet and it's blah, 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 blah. Right? This race sucked. Okay.
Right.
If you can't make a dangerous track safe and exciting, then we shouldn't race there anymore.
Right.
Like, if the only way, because the thing that makes Spa sick is like to do it in the wet. But if you can't, I'm not saying we should be unsafe. I'm just saying if the thing that makes it lit is to go fucking racing in the wet. But if you can't do that there anymore because of the way the trees are and that the moisture gets trapped and there's just too much spray and going through Eau Rouge and the visibility problems that creates is just too much of a nightmare, then we shouldn't, I hate to say it, but we shouldn't fucking race there anymore because we didn't, the race was boring and we didn't even get a fucking standing start. When they said rolling start, Brian, I wrote British bias. I was like, this is a fucking boon to Lando. This is a boon to Lando.
Who knows? Maybe maybe a standing start, he would have had a better chance because it happened exactly as you would hope.
No, they were getting us ready because remember, Lando was like, no, this side of the grid's no good. We have no.
Left side, these sides are not even. These sides are not even.
I will say, I know you're about to say that the McLaren screwed him because they didn't do the double stack, but I will say that I think Lando blowing, quote unquote, blowing that start.
Right.
I think people need to look back to the sprint race. Let's remember that Oscar blew the start too in that same way. And that it's like, just seems like that's just where you want to be.
Well, you slingshot up Eau Rouge, and then you have this long straight, and the slipstream is powerful. The toe is powerful there, so the exact same thing happened with Max. Going past Oscar in the sprint. So yeah, you could argue, and they said this after Oscar got second place. They were kind of like, well, is second place actually maybe better here? And he was like, well, I'd still like to have gotten pole, but it seems like second place is the place to be. Though Lando did, he had
the wheel spin.
He was twitchy, and he had real spin twice on the laps leading up to that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
And there's an art to do that rolling start too, right? Getting.
Right.
Backing the pack up, pulling away, catching them with their Max is great at it, right? Catching people with their pants down a little bit.
Right.
So he probably could have done a better job, but that's a tricky one. That isn't like, oh man, he blew the start. That was a harder one than usual. The broadcasters were very quick to point out that he had wheel spin and he wobbled a little bit, and that he could have done a better job. But Max picked Oscar's pocket as well there.
Right.
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you point out that you think that they should have double stacked him.
Yes. I mean, yes, 100%.
I think that, but if you double stack him, then Lando, then you're guaranteed 1-2. This at least
not necessarily.
Lando,
no, not necessarily. Well, you're guaranteed 1-2 in terms of what, like as the team? The team's guaranteed?
Like Lando's just guaranteed 2.
Not necessarily if you put Lando on the hard. I mean, here's the thing. The best strategy that you could have done on the day would have been to pit then and put them on the hards. Now, that's a lot to kind of come up with in the moment as it's drying, but you know it's drying. It's like there's no more rain coming. You have 10 laps to be like, hey, y'all, what the fuck are we doing? This track is drying quickly, and we're going to be on slicks very soon. And you know how it is. It's like when the track's drying like that, every lap that you stay out when in suboptimal conditions, you're fucking yourself. So
you're saying double stack medium hard.
I mean, that would have been the ultimate for Lando to win the race strategy. Now, would they have done that? Who the fuck knows? But you at least leaving him out at that point, like you lost like 5 or 6 seconds on that lap on the inters that were chewed up at that point.
But the counter to that is if they were too close for that double stack that double stack would have been a disaster.
You just slow the you slow down, you stop before the thing. It's still faster in the long run than keeping him out on track. This is the longest track on the grid. This is the longest track of the season. It's a 1/42 on slicks in qualifying with low fuel. Like, these are 2-minute long laps, and you're going to leave Lando out on degrading inters when the track is dry, as opposed to it's not going to be pretty. But it's like when Leclerc came in.
Hindsight being 2020. So hindsight being 2020, you're saying that you would have told Lando slow down a little bit.
Yes,
and then
we're going to double stack you.
That's like Red Bull 4D chess. You're asking them to do a little bit.
I don't think it's. I really don't think it's Red Bull 4D chess. The second that he was out there on inters, I was like, oh, well, he's fucked. He's fucked. Because he's out on the wrong tire for an extra lap on the longest track of the fucking rate of the year. So, or whatever. Don't slow down the Delta. Get in here, stop, let him do the fucking pit stop, and then you come in. We've seen, it's like they've made mistakes like that before. Remember, Leclerc in Monaco, he came in. It's not like you can't bring a guy in.
They don't like double stacking. Remember last year in Silverstone, they didn't like. Oscar could have maybe won that race, and they just didn't. They just don't like to do it. They don't like to double stack for whatever reason. They just get tight, and it's interesting. It's interesting to think about it like organizationally, like what you're describing, Brian, is like how the team is supposed to think to give Lando the best chance of winning.
I guess, I mean, yeah, sure. I really think...
How do we give Lando the best opportunity to overtake Oscar? There's also a thought that's like, well, whoever is in the lead just gets optimal strategy, and there is sort of this expectation
right, sure,
that whoever is in second gets a slightly shittier strategy. That you're not, how can we beat the other guy? That's not like how they're necessarily thinking.
I'm not even saying how can we beat the other guy. Now, they were so much faster than everyone today that it didn't matter. So they were 20 seconds ahead. So guess what? Lando could have stayed on those inters for 3 laps, and it wouldn't have mattered. And they would have still had a 1-2. He could have stayed on those shitty inters for 3 more laps, and it wouldn't have mattered. And the gap to Oscar would have been 18 seconds when he came out instead of 7 or 8 or whatever it was. What I'm saying is, if leaving him out on the inters for that extra lap lost him 7 seconds versus if he had slowed down and came in and they had done a double stack, it would have lost him 3 seconds. So it's like that was the math there. That was pretty obvious to me as like a dumb fan. Bankas, this season is heating up. It's getting spicy. It's getting fun. And you're going to want to make it even more fun with BetMGM every week. These McLaren boys are going at it. They're going toe-to-toe. Who do you have? And Yuki Tsunoda is going to get a podium this year. Mark my words. And you know I'm going to be throwing that bet down on BetMGM. So come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today, and you'll receive access to countless betting options, including new look, same-game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you on BetMGM, bankers.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Yeah. It's really interesting to think about because you know that Lando's side of the garage is thinking that maybe Lando's side is thinking, how do we get Lando to win, right? And Oscar's side is thinking, how do we get Oscar to win? Like, who is responsible? Like, who is God that's like, who's putting the thumb on the scale one way or the other?
Right.
Who's thinking macro strategy wise, politically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was like anything that nefarious there. I think it was like
it's not even nefarious. It's just where your focus is.
Well, we know that there's that within that garage. There's people who are kind of focused on maybe have preferences to different guys. Zach leans Lando, Andrea leans Oscar. Who's the one making that call? Like, we tell him to slow down. This is actually going to like optimize his strategy. At least maybe then, even if they put him on the mediums, he's within 3 seconds of Oscar as opposed to coming out on hards 8.5 seconds behind him. So it's like, this is, this is the math that they did, but I think it's also true. It's like, double stack. It's messy. We're so fast. Just leave him out on a shitty lap.
Yeah.
He'll come in. We'll still get a 1-2. Who cares?
I still think though that putting him on the hards was still a bit of a like, okay, we're gonna put Oscar's nuts in a vice. It's not gonna make it easy for him because if you I mean the like we're just gonna fucking take this home is just put Lando on the mediums.
No. I agree. I think, I don't know what that decision was.
Somewhere between let's give Lando the best chance of overtaking Oscar and let's give Lando no chance. They gave him somewhere in the middle. They gave him like when they put him on the hards. I was like, fuck, that's actually. Yeah. I mean, you had some hope. Come on, when they did that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I did.
And there was that great moment where Tom Stollard, is it Tom that's, which one's Lando's guy? Will Joseph. Will Joseph goes, it was like a restaurant. They were like, I'm sorry we're out of the double stack, but can I interest you in in hards to the end? Yeah. And Lando's yes. That was kind of the vibe. And Lando, and I was like, oh fuck, that's good. And then they explained that it was 2 stops harder, which I kind of hadn't been clocking because I was in a cave for like a whole week. I was like, oh, this is, but it was kind of I gotta say it was. They always do this to us in F1. They're like, ooh, these strategies are going to converge and it's going to be interesting. We promise.
Yeah.
And half the time there's a safety car or something that fucks it up.
Right.
And they're like, oh, and all the nerds, all the F1 purists are like, oh, the safety car. Right. If there wasn't a safety car, that we would have had a really interesting convergence of these two different philosophies coming together. Because that's really what F1's about, you guys, is strategy. We get to see, these two philosophies playing out, going the medium tire versus the hard tire, conserving, going long with the slower tire that's more durable or kind of saving the faster tire that's less durable. And we're going to see all that play out. And then it was just like a fucking nothing burger. It was a nothing burger and it didn't play out and nothing fucking happened. And guess what? If I could go back in time and throw a safety car or chaos or a DNF, we would have, and the nerds would have been like, well, Lando, that ruined a classic race. Classic race ruined. You know how many times I have to listen to these fucking nerds say, Safety car just ruined a fucking cerebral masterclass of a race from Lando Norris. Fuck you. Shut up. It never happens. It never fucking happens.
Well, also, here's what happens. Even when you get there, like Lando was hunting him down, and there were times where it was like, oh, he's gaining half a second here, he's gaining half a second there. But at the end, Oscar put in 2 personal best laps. He had pace in tow. Who knows if by the time he even gets there, Oscar, it's like when you're leading, this is what often happens. It's like, oh, he's 8 seconds behind. In 10 laps, he'll be within the DRS range. And then guess what? They get there, and often it's one of the main, it's Max leading, or it's Oscar leading, or it's Lando or Lewis or whoever. Someone who's leading is fucking good. And by the time the other person gets close to them, they're like, oh, they're here now? Okay, cool. I'll just be fast for the last 2 laps of the race, and the shit is over. That's what it is.
It's Beer Fest. It's at the end of Beer Fest where they they bet the whole company at the end, and they're like, well, guess what? We're not that drunk. And then they stand up, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
For the millennials out there, they've seen beer.
They're not that drunk.
It's like,
wow, that's a blast from that.
That's what it is. Like, Oscar was pretending to be tottering drunk, and then at the end, he just stands up straight. He's like, yeah, I'm not that drunk.
yeah, he's like, I'm fine.
Yeah. Or they do the classic where they'll finish 1 second behind at the last lap, and they'll be like, oh, if they just had one more lap.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know that. You don't fucking know. He couldn't have been not that drunk, and he could have just been guarding his pace miserly, just slowly doling out the pace very carefully.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's sitting on a trust of pace, Scott. He's like, oh no,
exactly.
Happy learned how to putt.
And it's got by the way, it's got tax havens. The trust is in Switzerland, and you can't see how much pace. You shell companies hiding the pace.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lando haters going to be out here being like, oh, look at him. He's a fucking choke artist. Look at, he locked up there and he locked up there. I'm like, he had a kind of fucking Herculean task after staying out on those inters to try to make up that gap. And yeah, did he have a perfect thing? No, but he's sucked in Spa forever. He's never had a good race in Spa. As a Lando fan, calling a Lando cope, I will take this fucking race. I'll take it.
Well, it was good that he got... All right. God damn it. Brian, why do you do this to me? I got to be reasonable now?
What do you mean?
I got to be reasonable. Okay. So...
You could be a Lando. You can lay it on. I'm ready for it.
Well, Brian, Brian, I think a better strategy might be to... If I were you, maybe I'd be like... You just pile on him, and then nobody can say anything. You do the I do live in a trailer park with my mom, and I do have a friend. Right. What's the line in 8 Mile?
Yeah.
What he freestyles?
I am
white.
Himself? I am a fucking bum. I do live in a trailer park with my mom. My boy Futurist Uncle Tom. I do got a dumb friend named Cheddar Bob who shoots himself in his leg with his own gun.
Yeah, exactly.
I did get jumped.
In a vacuum, I don't think Lando blew this. Like if an alien just dropped in from outer space, watched this weekend, I was like, well, that seems to be a tough task to keep the lead through that one turn.
Right.
Seems like Oscar himself, after he got the sprint pole, had trouble with it.
Right.
But we see a trend here that he just continues to fuck this up. So it's just really hard to ignore that element of it. I think this was a very, just to be positive for Oscar for a second, this was big for him. I mean, he really, after Silverstone, that was a fucking gut punch. He needed to stop Lando. So think about this. He fucking threw away a Silverstone win, let Lando win in his home race, let Lando creep back into within a win of tying this thing up or getting within a pubic hair.
Right.
And
1 or 2 points. Yeah.
And so Lando had some serious momentum, and then Lando got fucking pole, and Oscar put a stop to the momentum.
Yes.
And I think this was really, really important from a momentum standpoint. And
no, I think it was really good for Oscar. I think that we've seen the last few races, he's been kind of down. He's been pretty pissed. He's shown some negative emotion, which we're not used. We're used to seeing no emotion, and then we're seeing some, Jesus fucking Christ, and like this penalty was bullshit. How kind of emotional he was after the Silverstone, and then for him to lose the sprint race to Max, and this is Oscar's favorite track. This is not Lando's favorite track. Lando does not like this track. He had a big shunt here a few years ago. This is not a Lando track. And for him to get pole, I think Oscar was also, that was like another blow to him. And then, and I think this is where Oscar continues to excel and to be a significant step ahead of Lando is the racecraft and the ability to handle the pressurized situation. Like, Oscar was on his fucking ass for that rolling start. I was like, I had the same reaction as you. I was like, oh, rolling start. It's going to be harder for Oscar to pass. And I was just like, Oscar, like, they're like, you can take 20 car lengths under the safety car.
Yeah.
They're like, new ordinance, not 10 car lengths. You can take 20 now because you have that space. Oscar, so like, everyone else was doing that. Leclerc was taking that space. All right, I got 20 car lengths to work with. Oscar was like, I'm taking 2 car lengths. I am on your fucking ass, Lando Norris. I will not be taking for that entire thing. He was like, no. I am on you. Like white
Brian,
on
are
rice.
we entering Shaq with free throw territory here?
With Lando?
Yeah.
I'm not that fucking bothered by it. No.
We're in, but Brian, we're in an era where like starts are so fucking important and it's so hard to overtake, and these eras really, and unfortunately, I think it sucks that these races are decided in the first lap.
Sure.
And
right.
clean air is, so if you're second and you're better at, if you're worse at qualifying but better at starts, you're going to win the fucking race a lot.
Right. I guess but I feel like last year he was way worse. The starts were way worse. Like this year, and this was a rolling start. I just don't take this as, I'm just not that like concerned about this. I'm no longer the volatile.
Are you not concerned?
Lando fan.
Okay, Brian, are you not concerned? Okay, here's the question. Are you not concerned because you no longer care, or are you not concerned because you're not concerned? It doesn't worry you. Because
I'm not concerned because it doesn't worry me.
I've had reps in LA that tell me they're not concerned about my career, and I know that. I know you don't give a shit.
No, I'm not concerned because he outqualified Oscar on Oscar's favorite track. So I think, it was a rolling start. It's kind of like a non-typical, aspects of it were non-typical. I'm actually more encouraged by the fact that he outqualified Oscar, and that on these days, if it was more typical race conditions or a different track where it's not like maybe an advantage to be, because we saw both in dry conditions and in wet conditions that the guy in second won the race. So this was maybe like a track that, like, it had Lando been in second, who knows what happens there? Had anyone else been in second, who knows what happens there? So it's like, I'm just not as if it was a dry standing start, like, who knows? Let's say the next race is Hungary. This is going to be a big one, because this is where everything went down last year. Like, Hungary was like the race that kind of defined this relationship for the bad, for the worse. It's a track that Lando likes. It's a track that Oscar won last year, but Lando had to give him the place when he was put on a worse, when Lando was given a better strategy, even though it should have been given to Oscar. They gave him the worst strategy, had to have the whole fucking like emotional terrorism of fucking giving him the place back. So to me, this next week kind of has a lot in terms of vibe and momentum. We're going into the summer break. This next race is going to speak volumes. So I'm reserving aspects of my judgment maybe until next week.
Okay. Okay.
What? Just call it a Lando cope. I don't know. Like, I'm just not that. I'm not that concerned about it.
Okay. No, I just think that he's going to continue to qualify. I just don't think that qualifying is really.
But it's been.
He's
but
always
it
been
has
good at
been kind of.
He's
yeah,
always been good at qualifying.
Yeah, but dude, this whole year he's kind of not, and so now it's like, oh well, Lando's always good at qualifying. When it was like earlier in the year, it's like Oscar's got his fucking number. So it's like, okay, we chipped away at that. I'm like, I'm more concerned with Lando crashing in Saudi Arabia during qualifying and not even getting into the game. If he can keep those qualifyings up, I'm like. I think it will come down to those last few races, and I'm okay with that.
Here's what I think. I think that Lando has always been good at qualifying. Oscar has improved,
right,
in qualifying, and so Oscar's taken a step up in qualifying, so he's gotten closer to Lando's level. So now they're more even, around even, but Lando has not improved his fucking racecraft. He has not improved his starts. He has not improved the mental aspect of certain shit. The rolling starts. The standing starts. Just little the racecraft. Okay. This is where you do the overtake. This is where you got to put the car to defend.
Sure.
Just little tactical shit. He has not really improved upon that.
I don't really think that that's necessarily true, though. I don't find that to be fully true. I think that it's easy. I think it's easy to look at Lando's mistakes because it's like, this race had nothing going on, and it was just like, let's look at every single little mistake that Lando made. Max made mistakes on this track today. Honestly, in Silverstone, the last race, Oscar ran himself off track after the whole thing went down. He ran himself off track in those changing, tricky conditions. Lando didn't. So there's even elements of that I'm like, I just think that Lando's such an easy target when it comes to some of this shit that I think he kind of gets there's so much of a spotlight on it when it happens with him. And earlier this year, and I'll say this, earlier this year,
because he's fighting for the championship, Brian.
I understand, but I understand.
There was a whole discourse on Silverstone about whether Oscar choked because he made a mistake and he fucking handed Lando the victory. And there was a whole thing about he made a mistake. He made it,
but it wasn't.
He was
it's
cheeky.
Different.
He was too cheeky with the safety.
It's different.
Why is it different?
It's different because Lando is historically more of a fucking choke artist. So when he chokes, but I think there have been many examples this year of him being resilient, more resilient than we've seen him. Of him, even earlier this year, it was kind of like the narrative was like, oh, well, Oscar's now got his number when it comes to even qualifying. Lando's a choke artist when it comes to qualifying. So that's why I take as this week the fact that he out-qualified him, though he did have some of his still kind of classic Lando stuff. I'm not saying he's rid of all of that. I'm aware that shit is still in there. I'm just not. There's going to be a groundswell of, Lando, the fucking choke artist, is back. And I just don't find that this race, given also that this was not a track that he's ever really had good results in, I don't think that this weekend is the full example of that.
What would have to happen for you to be wow, he's really mailed this one in, or he really blew this one?
I think Saudi Arabia, when he crashed in qualifying and he didn't, and he was a race like that, or a race where a little bit more of it was fully in his hands, and a race where he doesn't finish in second. I don't think that's it's a race where he fucks up in a way that is more significant, which is going to be hard to do with this McLaren car. But I just don't think that this race was
Yeah, I mean. It's interesting. It's interesting. This championship is kind of hard to. It's new for us, right? Because our first championship, it was Max and Lewis, and it was two guys that were fucking knocking the shit out of each other. and crashing and really running each other to the brink.
Right.
And where this is like, it's kind of friendly. They're playing a little hot potato with each other about like, no, you take the championship. No, you take the championship.
Right.
And it's very respectful, very nice. And then sometimes in the middle of the fight, Max Verstappen just like in the middle of this title fight,
right.
Sometimes Max Verstappen comes in and knocks both of them out.
Right.
So it's a little bit hard, I think, for us to really get a sense of the ebbs and flows of this narrative. And we talked about it the other day where it's like we're in the middle of the closest title fight ever. Like not ever, but like in a
right.
while. And we can't shut the fuck up about Max Verstappen, where he's going, what he's doing, who he's
right.
on a plane with. And it's
right.
like the on-track stuff should be, we're in like a these two guys are on the same team. They're within striking distance of each other, and it doesn't feel explosive. It's just these little things like it's what we're talking. And I think what you're discussing, Brian, is like, did Lando choke today? He missed the fair. Like I talked about the other day, he missed the fairway. Like, did he fucking shank it into the bunker? No, he didn't.
No,
he missed the fairway. But
he needed a perfect, flawless race in order to like make that happen, and he didn't have that, and he lost. Like he
missed the fairway. But
yes.
he landed somewhere just off the fairway.
Right.
Now, I think a choke. To you, a choke is like, okay, he was in the water, he's double bogeyed, and he's finishing 7th. Right? So, but what's interesting is like in these title matches, like missing the fairway, getting apart, like it makes like these little things can add up.
Right.
These little things can add up, unless in the aggregate they can add up. There's not always necessarily a moment that you could just point to like, oh, that's the moment.
Right. But
like
sometimes
a Lewis in China, right?
Right.
In was it, where you could just fucking point to it and go, that's the moment he lost it, or that's the moment he won it, or there's
but
these other moments.
There might be one of these moments coming up, like in a race, like there have been a few big mistakes this year, right? You could say Australia for Oscar, big mistake. You could say Saudi Arabia for Lando, big mistake. Like the rest, he's been like they've both been on every podium. You know what I mean? It's like almost, I think I'm looking at every other race this year. They were both on every single podium. So like it's kind of like it's a back and forth. And like you could say like, for every race, and then Canada was the big one, another big one. So,
but honestly, he didn't end up because Oscar, that was a shit race for Oscar too. So he didn't end up.
It was mitigated.
He didn't end up losing that much.
Mitigated, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we haven't seen that many, and that's where I'm kind of like maybe hungry, given the emotional charge of it all. It's like but you can't not feel that, right? It's like this is where it all went down last year. It's like, and we're back. This is where the shit. It's like Abu Dhabi every year feels crazy to me because of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just like this is where the fucking thing happened.
Well, this is I mean, this from a more global perspective, this feels to me where Lando was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This isn't my team anymore. Like just my team. I think it firmly felt like just his team. Like Oscar was like the exchange student or something. Like it didn't feel like a threat to him. And that's when I think Jacques Villeneuve talked about this a lot. Like the psychic energy that happens when you start to feel like it's not even necessarily like he talks about it with it's not necessarily like with Max, right? It's not all people like, oh, Sergio Perez, Yuki Tsunoda, all these guys have different cars. It's not always just the car. It's it's more psychological than that. Like just the attention that a driver gets, everybody huddling around you. You can feel the energy starting to go towards one driver, and it saps you of your confidence. And just with like feedback and in the debriefs.
Let's talk about Yuki Tsunoda in that respect. Like, as much as today was whatever, he got fucked by strategy today.
Yes.
Like he
and heads will and should roll.
Heads will and should roll, but I think his qualifying, he talked about how, or I don't know if he talked about it, or other people were discussing, like having Laurent in there. Yuki got some of these upgrades that I think they were holding away from him. They're like, well, show us that you're worth the upgrades before we give you the upgrades. He got the upgrades, and I think he has the relationship with Laurent. There was like maybe someone in his corner being like, how do we make this qualifying work for you? How do we make this car work for you? Because this was the best qualifying that Yuki's had since he's been on Red Bull. Easily.
There's a lot of talk about the, Christian was losing, like, will Christian lose Max?
Right.
There was not a lot of talk about will Christian lose the talent that is Yuki Tsunoda, which I think was an equally important question that people were neglecting.
Yes.
And I think Laurent Mekies is maybe the answer to both of these very important questions, which is, can he retain both of these top talents?
Yeah.
And
that's right.
And handle both of these massive talents and egos. And I think it just, and I said this on the Patreon, if Laurent Mekies can deliver Yuki Tsunoda a podium, one podium, he has eclipsed Christian Horner in terms of accomplishments in my mind. So Christian Horner is statistically arguably the greatest team principal of all time. He will be second to Laurent Mekies if he can deliver Yuki Tsunoda a fucking podium. And I'm liking what I'm seeing. I mean, he made it to Q3 easily. Was it P6, qualified P6, P7? He got screwed
P7,
on strategy.
Yeah. But
so obviously it's
how they say, like, you can win championships other places, but one Ferrari championship is worth like 10 championships someplace else.
Yes.
I think that one Yuki Tsunoda podium is worth more than 8 drivers championships and 6 constructors championships with Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel. One Yuki Tsunoda podium eclipses all of that. So Laurent,
of course,
come on, baby. We believe in you, and we believe in Yuki. Joking aside, I think that this was a very hopeful step for our boy, because it's been looking like he's not going to be in Formula One at all next year, probably, possibly. And I was really feeling like it's over for him. And people have been asking me, how's it going with Yuki? And I've been like, not good. And I think our boy, our cash cow, is not going to be in the sport next year. But I'm feeling that qualifying was very hopeful for me, that he can maybe turn this thing around. If
he can just keep the qualifyings like this, if he could just start to build on this confidence, I think we're in a good place. I think it was good that he had family in the paddock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was crazy. We kept cutting to Lando's mom. Lando's mom got a lot of airtime.
Yep.
It's like Lando's mom is in McLaren's hospitality.
Yes.
And Oscar's mom is in Red Bull's hospitality. That's incredible. Just chef's kiss that we saw Oscar's mom in Red Bull's hospitality more than we saw Oscar's mom in McLaren's.
That's right. Yeah, for those of you living under a fucking rock, Nicole Piastri met her favorite driver in Spa this week, Yuki Tsunoda. They were in the Red Bull motorhome, chopping it up, hanging out. I wonder, did you think they talked about us, Matt? Because let's be clear, we made that happen.
I am not that delusional to think that we made it happen. I'd like to think we helped. She was tweeting about Yuki before we
Yes, but it became more of like a known public, like it was happening, and then we put a fucking like bullhorn to it, being like, "Hey, everyone, this is a thing." You know, Nicole Piastri loves.
She wore
Yuki
the
Tsunoda.
she wore the Yuki shirt. I mean, she wore the Yuki shirt on our podcast, and that went nuclear.
Yes,
and I will say that this is really something, a victory lap for us in the sense that like we are outsiders in this space. Yeah. We have no impact on the sport at all. But in the crevices, like deep out, like way out in the sticks, like we've now had an impact on like the lore.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Dude, that post on the Red Bull, like on the Red Bull Instagram is like going wild. It has like hundreds of thousands of likes. Everyone's loving it. And we're a huge part of why that, I mean, we sent Hattie and Nicole and the Piastri family the Brat shirts. She wanted the Yuki is Brat shirt. Hattie posted on her TikTok. That went nuclear.
Yeah.
That was everywhere. Then we talked to Yuki about it. We asked Yuki about his relationship with Nicole. That did really well. People were aware of that. So like, you know, sometimes, you know, an idea is a vulnerable thing. And you need someone to care for it and protect it. And there was an idea that was Rome. And there was an idea that was Nicole Piastri and Yuki Tsunoda as besties, and we nurtured it, took care of it, brought it to the world, and now we've seen the fruits of our labor, and they're besties. Now the next thing we just need is for Emily Ratajkowski and Yuki to hang out, and that will truly be because
I need them hang out. I want them to date.
Fully date. Yeah. Sorry.
Date. What are we talking about?
Get married, have a beautiful family, and die together at ages of 100 and 107 or however much older she is than him. You know.
Yeah. Get Yuki in the Meg Stalter Lena Dunham show.
That's right. Yeah. I'll see what I can do about that. Ooh, what's that sound? That's the sound of another sale on Shopify. Venkers, we here at the Red Flags Pod love Shopify. It's where we sell our perfect merchandise. Come on, baby. You can only get that at theredflagspod.com, but guess what? You know how the redflagspod.com works? Through Shopify, and we were using them long before they paid us, but you know they've got good taste, and so do we. It's a mutual thing, okay? When I started this podcast, I thought I had it all figured out. I thought that I knew what I was doing. I realized I'm going to need help. That's why we have Jenny. That's why we have our friends over at Friday Beers, and that's also why we have Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started to people in the middle like us. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns whenever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping and processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. So turn your business idea into... with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/redflags. Go to shopify.com/redflags, shopify.com/redflags. Bankers, these days I want to be looking and feeling my best. And if I want to do both of those things, I throw on my True Classic. True Classic t-shirts are designed for guys. They have the right fit, the right feel. Their mission goes beyond fit and fabric. It's about helping guys show up with confidence and purpose, and that's what I like to do in my True Classic. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Look at that. Come on. My arms don't look like that in other shirts, but in True Classic, it hugs me in all the right places. The gear fits right, feels amazing, and is priced so guys everywhere can step into confidence without stepping out of their budget. But what really sets them apart? It's not just the fit of the fabric, it's the intention behind everything they do, because at True Classic, it was built to make an impact. Whether it's helping men show up better for their daily lives, giving back to underserved communities, or making people laugh with ads that don't take themselves too seriously, they lead with purpose. Okay, I've been wearing True Classic for a while now, and I can feel the difference from the moment you throw one on. It's tailored where you want it, relaxed where you need it. No bunching, no stiff fabric, no BS. My belly looks small, and my arms look big. It's just clean, effortless fit that actually works in real life. Forget overpriced designer brands. Ditch the disposable fast fashion. True Classic is built for comfort, built to last, and built to give back. And you can grab them at Target, Costco, or head to trueclassic.com/redflags and get hooked up today. What else? Lewis Hamilton had a good race. Kimi Antonelli,
Well,
you know what?
He
He
pitted her 1 lap early. That seemed to be the move.
pitted at the right time. I mean, this was, it's a change in conditions. You want to be the first people on the scene with the good idea. And Lewis was there, and he gained 11 places, and he was killing them before that. Like, he was on a tear even before he did the good strategy.
Yes, he's like the one guy overtaking.
Yeah, and all these places were like, wow, no one really overtakes there. Lewis is on a mission. I think Lewis has been depressed. He's been pissed off. He sent a letter, I guess, to the powers that be at Ferrari as to like where they're fucking up and how they're making mistakes, and
Brian Mueller quoted.
Sometimes you got to send a letter. You know what I mean? You got to put your thoughts on paper, and you got to send it out. But he's still in recovery drive mode. He still can show his greatness on a Sunday by just old man strength. Mm-hmm. But while he was doing that and had an impressive drive, but ultimately, like, even within that, like, he had that first great laps. Like, he gained the 11 positions in the first 15 laps, and then was kind of just stuck where he was. And meanwhile, Leclerc had like a very not flashy race until his race engineer was like, Verstappen is 1.2 behind you, and he just goes, leave me alone. And then gives like a dissertation about like how they're being annoying.
I mean, that must be the worst place to be on planet Earth, is fighting for P3, not even a win.
Yeah, right.
With Max Verstappen breathing down your fucking neck for the whole race. No relief. No relief. I mean, Max Verstappen was on his ass the whole race.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was going to have him in the beginning, and there was a few times there where it looked like he was really going to have him, but he was able to hold him off. No, but other than that, this race sucked. This was bad. And I guess it's going to bi-yearly now, Spa. Spa's going to be like every other year.
Thank God. I'm sorry.
I can't remember, like, is it normally bad? For some reasons, like, in my mind, Spa, like, the races of Spa are not.
One year it didn't even fucking happen. It just rained too much, crazy. And they couldn't even run it because it's not a safe place to do in the wet, which is when it's the best.
Right.
Oh yeah, last year George went long and had the wind taken away. Jenny reminded us. I mean, that was pretty neat when that happened. I think it's interesting. I guess if we could go on a time machine, right, to make that race more exciting, you would have needed, I guess, Oscar's tires needed to be shittier, like because they went 2 stops. They went they skipped a stop with the hard, right? Mm-hmm. So, but it seemed like the mediums were too durable.
Right.
The mediums were just too durable. Like the hard wasn't that much more. Even 2 steps, the hards were not that much more better.
Right.
They're like
you need to
the mediums needed to. as the guy from Pirelli said, the head of Pirelli, when I asked him, like, what's going on? You know, why can't we figure out the strategy? He goes, our tires are too good.
That's right.
The tires are too good. It's just like they did, like a guy like Oscar Piastri at this point in his career can, in the lead, in clear air, can just fucking stretch it out.
Yeah, and they were saying, like, in the sprint race, like, Brundle was like, well, they looked, the tires looked fine 15 laps in of the sprint. And that was in harsher conditions, just hotter. So he was like, I think these mediums might last as well, and which they did. No, it was ultimately a snoozer of a race, but I guess in terms of what narratives we can discuss, Kimi Antonelli.
Where did he
discussing
finish?
This?
He qualified like shit.
Qualified. He had 2 bad qualifyings in a row, and then he finished in 16th place. There was a moment where he and Colapinto were like fighting for 15th or whatever, and it was like, oh, maybe we'll get a safety car with these two agents of chaos going after each other. They almost crashed at one point, but no, he had that kind of like nice overtake. Then he got cooked it too hard. Yeah, it was funny watching in the cool down room. The cool down room was so funny. It was just like they didn't say any words. They were just like ooh ah ooh ee, just watching Lando get mugged by Oscar Piastri. Lando reacting to all of his own mistakes, just going nice, Lando, nice, good one, buddy. I was
That's what my dad used. That's what my dad used to do to me when I made a huge mistake. Nice, man, real nice.
Nice.
When he has to pick me up at the principal's office. Nice.
Yeah.
Real nice, man. Nice work.
But then they were watching Kimi's overtake and they were like, ooh, and then they're like, ay, when he got, re-overtaken. Just guttural noises from them. But no, it was a very bad weekend for Kimi Antonelli. Apparently he was emotional, crying. There was someone posted this clip of him it looks like he's wiping away a tear, but I don't think that's what he was actually doing. I think he was just like wiping something from his eyes. But apparently he was emotional. Lewis Hamilton went to go see him in the Mercedes motorhome to like do emotional, like a wellness check and like damage control on some level.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah, wild. But I think we were discussing this on the Patreon. The decision to put Kimi Antonelli into Mercedes was a rushed decision that is proving to be something that should not have happened. Not saying that he shouldn't be in Formula One, but to put him at a top team, having skipped F3, gone straight to F2, 18 years old, still finishing up school, and to put him under that type of pressure, I think was a ill-advised management decision that was done out of emotion because Toto Wolff was so upset that he didn't get Max Verstappen last time, and he wants his Max Verstappen, and on top of that, he wants actual Max Verstappen. And I think that there's like this vibe where like, like they want to project the vibe of like we just make, cool, like cold-blooded, just kind of like rational decisions. We're Mercedes, like we don't let this other shit get in the way, like we're optimization kings.
We're not Red Bull. We're not like just throwing drivers on. We're not just making these impulse buys, Nick DeVries.
Right.
Kind of, let's bring Daniel Ricciardo back for a spin. We're very deliberate with our choices.
Yeah, and there's this vibe where it's like there's all this effort spent trying to protect Kimi, right? Like Kimi crashes in FP1, it's okay, Kimi, like it's all good. Kimi, like whenever Kimi messes up, like it's okay, you're 18, it doesn't matter. What about me? George goes like, well, what about me, Toto? What if I have a good race or whatever? And he goes, you've had plenty of good races, like this is Kimi's moment, blah blah blah. And I'm all for people like protecting the youth of the sport. When Isaac Hadjar crashed in the first race of the year and Anthony Hamilton gave him a hug and was there for him, I think that's aspect of that is beautiful. But there's all this effort spent trying to protect Kimi When the real way you protect Kimi is you don't put him on a top fucking team at 18 years old when he's skipped F3. You put him on a team that has lower expectations, because you can say all that you want. You can talk till you're blue in the face about how the expectations aren't that high and you're 18 and it's okay and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you're fighting against the avalanche of you put him on fucking Mercedes. And
against
this is
George Russell.
Against George Russell. Like, that's what you've done. And as much as you want to, like, grandstand about how you want to, like, protect him and his mental health, the way that you actually protect him and his mental health is that you don't put him in that position in the fucking first place. So I think this whole thing is a mess. It's a mess.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this. It's like, look at Gabriel Bortoleto today.
Mm-hmm.
Great result. We're talking about him today. I don't really know where Behrman, good result. Where did Behrman finish? Good result today. It's like, Behrman just finished outside the points, but he beat his.
But still,
but it's just like when he shows up, I'm like, oh, there he is. Great, good for him. Behrman makes a few mistakes. I'm not. It's like it's in the back. It's in the back burner. You're not really paying attention. Bortoleto makes a few mistakes. You're not really paying attention. He's at stake. But when they show up, you're like, oh, isn't that nice? But like they're kind of fucking.
Yes.
The guys like Behrman, Bortoleto, even Colapinto, like you forget. Oh, you're like, oh fuck, he's in last. Like you're not really paying attention to it.
Right.
There's kind of an anonymity to being on these teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's really paying attention to the Alpines, the stakes, the fucking.
Because guess what? When a stake gets if you're in stake and you get 16th, you go, oh, sure. When you're on Mercedes and you get 16th, you say, hey, what the fuck happened here?
Right.
And even look at, honestly, as much as the beginning of this year was savage for Liam Lawson, like at least they took him out of that situation and put him in a different situation. And if they are like care about nurturing him as a driver, give him a couple years in F1 properly to be there. Now we'll see what they do ultimately, but like, you know, there was all this like, you should have kept Liam in Red Bull. You should have kept him in Red Bull. And it was like, I don't necessarily know that that's true, because if he was continuing to have the results that he was having, or even if he was having what Yuki's dealing with as a rookie coming in, it's like, you're totally fucking him. You're totally ruining his psyche even more by keeping him there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think,
and that's what they've done with Antonelli. They've kept him in the space, and he's had good results. He's had good moments, but that's all you want from a rookie. But when you're on a top team, what the expectation is more than a flash in the pan every now and again. Like what you want is consistency. You're fighting for like top constructors points, and Kimi had a horrible weekend. He's clearly like struggling with the pressure of it, and as much as you want to like call in, you know, your fucking reserves and call in Lewis Hamilton, hey, come give him a pep talk, and you want to like sit down with him and talk to him about how everything's okay and there's no pressure on him, that's bullshit, because there is pressure on him because he's on Mercedes.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I think rookies should be given some grace, obviously, but there's this like, we always should give him extra grace because he's 18. Right. And I'm like, you didn't have to promote him when he was 18. Like he's a rookie when he's he's a rookie. So he gets the same amount of grace that any other fucking rookie should get. You know what I mean? Right. Well, it's interesting. I say that. And like Nick DeVries got like no grace because it's like, well, he's fucking 27. So fuck him, you know. It's like, well, he's never actually been in F1 before, so what do we even expect from him? For all you F1 fans that don't follow American sports, we see this the reason we are like, I think the reason you and I are honing in on this issue, is because we hone on, because this happens every year with something called the draft. Mm-hmm. Every year we get a guy that's like, this is the guy. Yeah, you know. And it's so often doesn't happen. It's so often just a huge, whether it's the NBA or the NFL, right? Remember Zion Williamson, Brian?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Do you remember? Like it was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
This guy is unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's so big. He's so fast. He's so strong. He could jump through the ceiling. He's like a can't miss.
Yeah.
Like F1 doesn't do this all the time where they hype a guy like this. But we see it all the time. Like, and every year there's like a draft where like all this pomp and circumstances is like around these guys. And then you look back at every draft and you're like, most of these guys don't pan out to. So there's, I think with an American sports audience, there's a natural skepticism to anointing anyone. You know, there's this guy, Cooper Flagg. Like, we'll see. Like, people are like, he's the next best, greatest thing. It's like, who the
right?
He could be, or he could be Zion Williamson.
Right.
I remember after LeBron, everyone was talking about OJ Mayo. OJ, you know, it's just like Sebastian Telfair, right?
Right. Well, it's what makes someone
these
like
guys
LeBron
come in
actually very unique because he's actually lived up to the hype. Like LeBron
Yes,
was
they
hyped like that.
very
and then he
rarely
lived
do.
up to it. But it's like
They
the most recent best players in the NBA, Nikola Jokic and SGA, like even
Giannis,
the best player in the Giannis. Well, yeah, Giannis. People didn't think Giannis was going to be what Giannis is. Like they kind of develop over a few years and they kind of reveal themselves to be greats. Is often what can happen, and I think it's easy to kind of want to anoint within the F1 world, like immediately, and you got.
I remember when I paid
for the
greats
to reveal themselves over time.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence was a guy that he was gotta be. He was like he was the most. He was one. I mean, Trevor Lawrence I think is fine, but like I remember Brady Quinn was another one. Oh, Brady Quinn. He's already playing in an NFL system. I mean, these are guys that I remember as a kid. Like they were like surefire, 100%. Gonna be bona fide stars. And
no one cared about Patrick Mahomes. No one cared about Tom Brady. You know, it's like these like the two greatest quarterbacks of the last 30 years are guys that like were completely slept on. So I think
guess what? No one cared about Michael Schumacher.
Right.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton. No one expected Lewis Hamilton to come in the way he did.
Right.
And I mean, Max came in with a lot of hype. Max is like the LeBron type of thing. Jordan wasn't even the first fucking pick. He was the third pick.
Yeah.
So it's like we're
Steph Curry.
Just historically as a culture, as a society, we are bad at anointing people. Very bad. Usually history has to decide who's the best.
Right. Venkers, I'm a busy guy. We here at the Red Flags, we're busy now. We're doing multiple podcasts a week. We've got meetings. We've got a merchandise store. We've got so much going on that sometimes my health and my meals take a back seat. That is until I found Factor. Because Factor helps me eat smarter with tasty, chef-prepped meals that are dietitian-approved and delivered right to my door. And now, with more than 65 weekly meals made for how I live and what I like to eat, I've got even more ways to fit a real meal wherever my day takes me. I'm running all over the place. We're going to different races. I don't know what I'm eating half the time. And some of the stuff, you order it, you get it delivered. It's $8,000, and the food is not good for you. That's why I choose Factor. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost, baby. Support your wellness goals. Enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals with new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good for you fats. Savor global flavors. For the first time, try Asian inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. From more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. That is a good percentage, baby. Feel the difference no matter what your routine is. Eat smart at factormeals.com/redflags50 off and use code redflags50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code redflags50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor.
Rookies should be given a certain amount of grace, but like, you know, you're a rookie when you're a rookie. Like, you're in when you're in, and that should be it. I think. Do you think part of it, Brian, as somebody who is very highly touted and had all the accolades in your given craft, can you speak to the whiplash, you know, of being like the most talented person like that, you know,
right?
And because I think that's maybe part of what he's experiencing is like when you're that prodigiously good.
Yeah.
I think that's something that, like, you know, something like, I'm not saying he doesn't work hard, but when you're just so naturally gifted,
right?
Like Johnny Manziel, right? It's like he talks about it, right? He had so much fucking talent, that he never really met any resistance. He could just like do whatever the fuck he wanted, and his talent would just get him through. And then he when he got to the NFL, it was hard, and he didn't have enough talent to like. He wasn't equipped to then meet that resistance. And I'm not saying Kimi isn't equipped, but this might be the first time in his life that he's actually like hit a wall.
Yes. He's
you know what I'm
excelled
saying?
at everything. It's been like every hoop he's ever played basketball on, he can dunk on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now he's like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And like every now and again, if everything's going right, he can dunk on it. But he's with all these you know, he's with all these other guys who block the shit out of his shot. And it's just harder, more difficult conditions. And yeah, I mean, I think that like you have to, facing that type of resistance builds resilience and it builds strength if you like take it head on and can grow from it. But and I think we are watching a kid who kind of has had just like green lights his entire career and is now like first experiencing his first red light. And that's really overwhelming. I mean, we saw him, we were in Miami and he was riding high in Miami, right? We went to the premiere of his Netflix documentary. And he walked in,
which
like
was another
movie.
Fucking huge mistake.
Huge mistake to do that. It's like no pressure on you, Kimi, but we have
let's make a documentary about you before you even set foot in an F1 car.
Like hyping you up as like the next greatest of all time. Like that's what that documentary was. It was like this kid is going to be the next GOAT. So yeah, an added element of pressure. And he walked in, and you know he had gotten the pole. And you know all this stuff, but he walked in like a movie star. He came in, he was walking like he was wearing sunglasses indoors, and he was like, "What's up, Kimi Antonelli? I'm fucking here." And what that said to me was like, that's a guy, and especially in Miami, was like, okay, so like we're back, like I'm him, and everyone will bow down to the greatness that is me.
Yes.
And I think that that's where he has existed for the most of his life. And now he's like entering into this other pool where that's not the case. I mean, you know, you referenced it with, it's like, I went to like one of the best drama programs in the country for acting. I was,
and
like,
you got all the lead parts.
And I excelled there. I was like, I ran like the second to Juilliard school with like an iron fist. And I kind of was like, guys, I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. I went and saw the Crucible. He was incredible as John Proctor. And then I like got to LA, and it was like, oh, this is a whole other fucking ball game. And like everything that made you special here actually kind of doesn't matter here. Like you're like
they don't care how many octaves you can sing in LA.
And to an extent, like, you know, these, I think F1 is its own beast. It's like welcome to the NFL kind of shit. Like these, and you've seen it in sports plenty of times.
There's not necessarily carryover from like the Crucible on stage to like being in a sitcom.
Right.
It doesn't. Yeah. Like the F2 cars are nothing like the F1 cars, and it's a completely different.
And it's a business, and there's an element where it's like, okay, now we're in business time. You know what I mean? Where it's like in the lower formulas, there's a kind of like we're just learning. It's about your craft. It's this, that's this. It's like now there's all these other pressures. You have a Netflix documentary. You have a publicist. You have millions of followers on Instagram. You have a salary. You have like brand things to go to. You have to do. There's so much to like take in once you like get into the business of whatever your skill, hobby, passion is. That it kind of like it can be overwhelming, and then on top of it, it's like you need to be performing in order to even like have that shit. And he's currently struggling. So yeah,
I mean, even with this podcast, it's like suddenly I have a Slack. Like what the fuck? It's crazy. Yeah. I just thought I was chatting with my friend here. I think the other part of it is like identity. Yeah. Like it fucks with your identity a little bit because. I think when you're really successful as like a high achieving young kid, you're I wouldn't know anything about that, thankfully. But when you're a high achieving young kid, that becomes your identity. You're a high achiever.
Yes.
Right? Is achieving is your identity, is the achievement itself. Right?
Right.
And I think when you stop achieving immediately, when the achievements are taken away from you, then you're suddenly left with, well, then what the fuck am I without the achievement? Mm-hmm. I mean, I had a movie made, right? This is just like, it's like I had this achievement and I was like, I was getting the movie made and I was like, I made it. Like I put my whole identity into like making it and getting the movie made. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the movie, nobody cared when it came out. It got bad reviews. Nobody saw it. Like, and then so the result wasn't what I thought it was. So, but I was so hung up on the result. My identity was so hung up on on a perceived result that I was shattered.
Right.
And it took me like a long time to sort of reorient myself into like, not like I'm a writer. I like writing isn't about like what you achieve. It's about like what you do. It's like and it's like process oriented. So like we're projecting obviously, but it's impossible for Kimi Antonelli not to see himself as a winner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to see himself as a winner and not a racer. You know what I mean? What he is he's not a winner. He's a racer. And because a race, you'll know whether you're in the back or the front, you will always be a racer.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, whether you crash or you win, like your identity will always remain the same and you will be steadfast in that identity. And, you know, our producer, process over results is the mantra, right? It's like, and that's hard. That's really hard.
Especially when you're used to winning, because it's a lot harder coming down the ladder than it is climbing up the ladder. And I think like, have you ever had the experience of where you're like in a place, I know you have, but like where you're like, this isn't my life. Like, no. This isn't my life. This isn't my life. This isn't my life. There's a really powerful scene I remember when I was a kid watching The Shawshank Redemption. There's some guy and he's in, like, they just hear him in the jail cell and he's crying all night. And he's like, this isn't my life. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. And then like the guard comes out and kicks the shit out of him and then he like dies. He like bleeds out over the night. I remember seeing that as a kid and being so traumatized by that. And then having certain moments of my life when like the life that I thought I was going to have was so far away from me. And the life that I was currently living when I'm like working at a restaurant and like, you know, driving 45 minutes to work, and just like my relationship at end, I was like, this isn't my life. I'm like, no, this isn't my life. I've had a few of those moments. And I think what that is like, there's a death. There's an ego death that happens with that.
Dude. Yeah, go ahead.
The death of like the storybook, because it's very easy for people to get like it's so it's a drug to be like, and then this is gonna happen, then I'm gonna, it's like when I'm gonna marry my high school sweetheart, I'm gonna I'm not gonna have to, and what it really is like a fear of pain and a fear of like difficulty. I won't be able to handle when bad things happen to me. I won't be able to handle those things. So like my life is going to be perfect. Everything's going to work out in the way that I want it to work out. This can sometimes be my issue with manifesting, because sometimes manifesting is like so fixed on like a result. It's just like, I'm going to be this thing, like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, what if you're not that thing? Why all of a sudden like everything sucks now?
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's much more healthy to like want to learn, like have more like vague goals in the future. I want to like learn. I want to grow. I want to and I think what's happening, bringing it back to Kimi Antonelli, is like, it's impossible for a kid that has had the rise that he has had to not envision his Formula One career in life as being like flawless, and he's going to get in there, and yeah, he'll struggle a little bit, but not really. It'll be like kind of struggle.
It'll be Max
you know
Verstappen. Like he sees Max Verstappen. He looks at Max Verstappen. He looks at Lewis Hamilton.
Right. Yes.
You know,
and it'll be like, I'll be like them. I'll be winning championships, and it'll all like work out. It'll all be perfect. Mm-hmm. And I think what he's running into is the death of that fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, like the best, when I was 20, I've said this before, but when I was 20, I was like, my parents, all they ever wanted for me, I have a twin sister who's autistic, and had so many issues in school and everywhere else. So it was like very important that I go to a good college,
Right.
And that was like everything to them. Like, want you to go to good college, and they pushed me so hard to. That was like all
right,
because once you go to a good college, then you get a good job afterwards, and then
right,
and then I developed a drinking problem. I had to leave college. I had to go to rehab, and I wasn't clear. And I had that moment that you're talking about where it's like, well, if I didn't even know if I'd go back. There was, and I had that like, and I had to like disentangle like this trajectory that is what I thought my life was good. I had to disentangle this projected trajectory from like who I was.
Right.
And I remember, and I remember like, thankfully I had like people around me that were very supportive and helping me. But I remember I got to a place like where I was like, if I never go back to college, that's okay. Or if I, go somewhere, if I go to like a community college, that's okay. Like that's fine. That doesn't like, I don't have to go to this fucking douchey place to like, and have this douchey diploma, which by the way, has had really like very little impact on my, it's not really helping my podcast.
College
career.
Is a fucking scam unless you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer.
Right. So, but yeah, so I think it's, I think everybody experiences that death a little bit. It's just when you experience it, how you bounce back. Some people have a midlife crisis, right? They're right on that track, and then they're 45 years old, and they're like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
And I think there's like, you have to embrace the learning that I've had in my life is like you embrace the thing, and you have to like. You have to look at anything that you perceive as like, oh, my life is over. This isn't my life. Everything's horrible now. Like, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. Is like, no. I'm going to learn something. This experience is going to teach me something. And like, wisdom trumps everything else in my experience. Because I've had successes and wins and whatever. You learn more. I mean, it's like it's a tried adage. It's like you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. I guess, and I'll bring this, and we'll get on to the awards. We'll do them quickly because it's been a long episode, but bringing it back to our original discussion around Lando Norris, this is where I'm like, it's like, oh, he's done it again. Like, you know what I mean? Like this kind of thing. I guess as I see whatever like market improvement that I can with him, because I think Lando's had an ego death as well. Oscar Piastri is like the embodiment of Lando's ego death. Like,
right, he was his trajectory was like, when I get the car,
right,
I'll win.
Yeah. And now he has the car, and now
yeah.
there's another dude standing in his fucking way who also has that car.
Right.
Who has
he didn't expect that.
He's literally the embodiment of they're polar opposites in so many ways. And probably on some level, Lando is that for Oscar. Like, Lando's personable, like on a social level, like, oh, like everyone fucking like Lando just is, he's funny and he's quippy and he's this and he's that, like, you know, whereas like Oscar's, you know, I would imagine has struggled in those situations, doesn't really know it doesn't really like a party, and maybe is like okay with that, but also is maybe like, like, you know, it'd be nice if I could, like, you know, like a party, you know what I mean? Whereas like Lando's like, he's doing all that stuff, so they have these things with each other, which is why I think that like they kind of
he got his ego death out of the way. We've talked about this too. Right. Oscar's ego death, he got that out of the way quickly. He wins everything. He does like the Kimi Antonelli special. Well, not even. He did the Leclerc Russell, you know, wins F3, wins F2, fucking gets parked at Alpine.
Right.
Just sitting there for a year, gets dicked around, has to shoot his way out. Everyone thinks he's a fucking, like, the opposite of Toto Wolff treatment, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, they're fucking with him, right? They're telling him one thing, Alonso the other thing, and they're dicking him along, and then he's got to jump ship to McLaren. So he's already, like, his storybook is already fucked up before he even sets foot in an F1 car. And I think that, you know, so all these guys have it, and I'll tell Kimi, he also had to, you know, he had to replace Daniel Ricciardo. Everyone was questioning his integrity, you know, all this stuff. And I'll tell Kimi Antonelli what my professor told me when he was wondering why I didn't show up to class for the second time in a row. And I wasn't, he called me, he said, I told him what happened. I was 20 years old, and he told this to me. He said, you know, why aren't you here? I told him what happened. I got to go to rehab. I've been drinking too much. And I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm this, I'm that. I'm doing the Lando Norris special, right? I'm like, piling on myself. And he says, how old are you? And I said, I'm 20 years old. And he said, you're too young to make a mistake. Just learn from it. And I was like, and that was like a major shift for me. I'm like, I'm not an idiot because I drank too much and got thrown out of college. I'm an idiot if I keep drinking. And that was when I was like, okay, I forgive myself, and I'm just going to learn from it. And so like forgiveness, grace, forgiveness for yourself and learning is like really important in this process for him, I think. As you know, people are like, what do you know? You don't know anything, you know, blah, 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 blah. You haven't achieved anything than Kimi. I'm like, well, I fucked up a lot worse than Kimi Antonelli has. So I know a thing or two about fucking up, you know, and then bouncing back. So I think I'm pretty good at I think I'm pretty well suited to be giving him this advice. Yeah.
And we'll get to our awards. This is Lando's reaction post race. Also, to me, he's kind of got.
That was a step in the right direction.
Huge step in the right direction. He gave props to Oscar. He was kind of like, you know, I did blah, blah, blah. Like he was like, I'll look at it. He took some blame. He didn't like.
No, that was perfect. That was perfect.
He handled it. He handled it with grace, and he handled it with integrity. And I was like, all right, this is, you know, the guy's fucking learning from his mistakes.
I ding him a little bit for the nice.
Oh, come on, dude. That was fucking hilarious.
I was triggered because that's what my dad told me when I had to go to rehab. Nice.
That was so funny, though.
It cut so deep.
Did you not find that to be funny, though?
Of course it was funny. Not for cut deep, though. Cut deep.
Yeah,
you got to be able to laugh at yourself, I guess. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. Nice.
Nice, Lando. Nice. That was amazing. That was amazing. All right, let's quickly do these awards. Okay, hottest moment of the day.
You know, whenever they cut to Charles Leclerc, you know, drinking, it's always good. It's always good. Always good.
I'll give it to Yuki and Nicole.
Just for hottest.
Just being models. You know that my Catherine said that Nicole looks like Iris from Love Island, and I kind of see it.
Nicole is way better.
Less
looking.
Less work done.
Yeah, way more natural beauty.
Totally.
Than Iris from Love Island.
But I kind of see it. I don't think
isn't Iris blonde?
Take your have some imagination, bitch.
No.
All right. Daddy of the day.
Daddy of the day. I mean, we what do we say? We say Nicole for Daddy of the Day, or
Nicole. Maybe Nicole meeting her other son, Yuki.
Nicole meeting for her son, Daddy of the Day for sure.
I like it. Radio of the day. I think we know the.
It's got to be Leclerc.
Leave
me alone.
It's got to be Leclerc. The full transcript of that was because it was so funny. Because he goes, "Leave me alone, please." And then there's a beat, and he goes, "I can have no information. Then when he's getting close, I have too much information. Keep it constant. Don't worry." Incredible.
And I think Oscar had a little Napoleon Dynamite moment at the end. He was like, "Fucking well done." That was fucking. Yeah. He cursed once.
He did. He goes, yeah.
He does these little Napoleon Dynamite, like, yes.
That's how you fucking do it. Oh.
Yeah.
Karen of the day.
Karen of the day is the FIA.
Yeah.
For just putting us through hell. Just putting us through hell.
It seems like they could have done a few of those warm-up laps. Then when it started raining again, you just stop the race and then you could resume it later, but you could have.
Or just let's not race here anymore. If you're going to be like,
right.
Just do it or don't. Like,
fix
race
Eau
there
Rouge,
or don't.
Like change Eau Rouge.
Yeah.
Make Eau Rouge safer.
Yeah.
Or we don't race here anymore.
Because you're like the wet condition. It's like, you race in Canada and Suzuka and these places because it rains there, and and that's when it's going to be good. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. And I also want to give an honorary Karen to the commentators who really love to point out, Lando, if he hadn't have done that,
yeah,
yeah, that was brutal.
That's brutal. That's where you need a Nico Rosberg or a Jacques Villeneuve to be like, he's not going to catch him. Because after a certain point, I was like, okay, so this is done. Like after, one of Lando's offs or whatever, and it was like, okay, he's like, it went back up to
I felt
8.
like I was watching
right,
Kamala Harris, like her path to victory. It's still there. If she just gets this state and that state, she still got it.
Blue wall.
Yeah, the blue wall's coming. It might, she just needs to win 900,000 counties in a row.
Yeah.
Her path to victory is like so fucking narrow, but they're like, no, keep watching. Keep watching. Don't tune out. We're not calling this election yet, folks.
Right. Right. We're not calling this election yet because
Jocks and Nico to be like, nah, it's over.
We're not calling this election yet, folks, because the Life Alert ad has not played yet, and we need those ad dollars.
I mean, I'm bad at math. But they were like, well, he took a sixth off him this lap. I'm like, if he did that every lap, he still wouldn't fucking catch it. So
yes.
And they're like, well, if he hadn't gone off, I mean, you feel bad for these guys. What are they supposed to do? Like, yeah, it's fucking over. Turn off the channel. But then Ted Kravitz is great. I gotta love Ted Kravitz because Ted Kravitz goes, but don't forget about the cliff. Where's the cliff? Yeah. He could hit the cliff. They're doing everything they can to keep our interest.
And but you know what? Brundle participating in that, like after a certain point, you gotta be the voice of reason at a certain point. And I feel like Brundle was like playing into the delusion, and I was like, baby, don't be like that. Don't get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
You need a guy. You need a Jeff Van Gundy. You need someone who's just gonna like call it straight at a certain point. You can't all be in on the conspiracy together. Okay, red flag of the day. Kind of maybe that. FIA, those guys.
The red flag is the illusion that these strategies ever fucking play out.
That's right.
That this is ever a thing.
Yes. Fuck, marry, kill this podium.
Fucking Leclerc killing Oscar. No, killing Lando, marrying Oscar.
Marrying Oscar. I am going to kill Lando because I think I feel like he's learned what he needed to learn, so I can kill him. With his response afterwards, not being a sourpuss about it. Marry Oscar, fuck Leclerc, because he's just too damn cute and he hasn't been on that many podiums this year, so I gotta take my shots with him where I can.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a big race coming up. Hungary. What do you got? What's your predictions?
I feel like McLaren's going to run away with this again, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Feels like. I think Lando's going to win this one for some reason. I think Lando's going to have an extra chip on his shoulder for this one. He's going to be really dialed in. I mean, I think it's hard to make Lando angry. I think he's going to be angry for this one. He's going to want to win this one. So I'm going to either go Lando, Oscar, fuck it. Yeah, Leclerc again, I guess.
I think it's going to be Lando, Oscar, Verstappen. Max Verstappen. All right, Vankas, we got Vanka Hours coming out on Wednesday. Make sure that you are subscribed. And of course, this podcast would not be what it is if it wasn't for our daddies of the pod. So we got to thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier Amira, Sheila Valeri, Chandler, Ali Santana, Carla Juarlo, Kimberly Hueden, Alonso of My Face 69, Donya Denad, Deadbeat Daddy Muhammad, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hollister 584, Delusional Science Fan, Kat, Future Dog Tour Dion, Steph Grossi, JP Fresh, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hull is my F1 Daddy, Branch W, Keep Up, The Signs Hate, Hunter Scruggs, Salmonella Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts. Jay Kess, George Russell's Evil Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3, Matt Edwards is always right, I wish I was Max and Danny's love child, Delaney Andrews, Henry Caskey, Miles Lewis, Alexander, The Real Toto Wolf, Meggie B, Kaylee, Breyer, Eva the Y, Aaron Fiver, Devin, a.k.a. the future Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Frazier, Yuki Tsunoda's other mother. Jenny is the reason I am a daddy. Megan, Aaron, Pineapple with a Y. Matt has a secret boner for Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, it's Gary. Carolina, my name is AJ, and fuck the HOA. K-Mac can fuck smash my door any day. The official F1 race program and its executive editor, Sarah. I got tickled by the Tifosi. Hey, Jet, good luck out there. Allison Sane, Zhuzh, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown Sonoda, Jerome Ferreira, Colapinto is a fraud, Aaron, Sheen, Shahid, Jeans Rockstar, Chohun, Shake and Bake, How to Lick My Balls, Stay Fierce, Charles Leclerc, Truth Bringer, Mama Burns, Arthur Leclerc is hotter, Carlos Sainz, OP, Goblin, and our newest daddy, right now. All right, Daddy of the Week on this week. Every week, Nicole Piastri, who met our son and her son, Yuki Tsunoda. Big one for the pod. If you want to become a Daddy of the Pod, go to patreon.com/TRFpod and join the resistance today. All right, Vegas, we love you. Goodbye.